Hey everybody, have you considered starting a podcast? We here at Screwball highly recommend Podbean for getting your podcast out to a larger audience. Podbean has given us the ability to easily bring you Screwball each and every week and all of your favorite podcast services. Use the link podbean.com/screwball to sign up and save up to 35% annually. You can also use the link podbean.com/pro/screwball to sign up for a business subscription. Happy podcasting. Hey everybody, welcome back to Screwball, a baseball podcast, your home for everything baseball. I'm your host, Mike Lepre, here with my co-host, Frank White.
Hey, how's it going?
Now, this is episode 68 of Screwball, and we're fastly approaching the All-Star break. So along with the All-Star break is our yearly Home Run Derby in baseball. So we thought it appropriate to kind of bring a topic about the Home Run Derby and related to the Home Run Derby as we also start to see some participants in the Home Run Derby start to come through. And as usual, we have our news roundup of the week and other stuff, you know, our hot and colds and trivia and all that. So let's get right into it and do the first piece of news that leads right into our topic. So number one on the news docket today, this year's Home Run Derby is shaping up to be as exciting as always, since we have already 3 contestants now confirmed to be participating. On Monday, or today as of recording, Trevor Story announced that he will take part in the Home Run Derby in front of the Colorado home crowd. He joins defending champ Pete Alonso and newcomer Shohei Ohtani. Also, there have been some reports that Trey Mancini was asked, that he was at least invited. There's no confirmation as of yet, but I thought to bring that up maybe in between us recording and it going up, maybe we'd hear something about him. I'm sure invitations have gone out everywhere to different guys, but I know Tatis, I think he said something where he doesn't want to be in it. Judge doesn't want to be in it unless it's in New York. So you got guys that have confirmed, that they wouldn't be in it for one reason or another, but we do have Trevor Story, Pete Alonso, and Shohei Ohtani, which I think is going to be exciting. So that leads right into our topic of the day. Again, like I always say, Frank usually brings us our topic, so I'll kind of let him lead it off here. But basically, we're talking about the Home Run Derby slump myth, quote unquote. Does it exist? Is it real? Is it not real? Is there validity to it? So we'll kind of get into that. But like I said, it's, I'll let Frank kind of lead it off and kind of guide the conversation. So,
Yeah, you get the Home Run Derby every year for the most part. And it's the idea, is there a curse or is there a slump that comes with participating in the Home Run Derby? And a lot of people think there is. For me, I don't think it's a consistent thing. I think, sure, some players could struggle from it. I don't know if it's directly correlated with it or is it correlated with the fact that you don't have the time off. You're practicing a lot before the Home Run Derby. And then the Home Run Derby comes, you're practicing a lot for batting practice and doing that. And then the Home Run Derby's over and you're doing All-Star Game stuff. And you're with guys who, you don't see much and you're superstars. And that gets your all, autographs and stuff. You know how it is in the clubhouse. You've seen people. And then you're traveling back to whatever stadium you got to go to. So you don't really have the off time. But you have enough time where you're not consistently swinging at live game pitching. So that could throw people off. But dog days of summer coming, you're beat up. It's a lot of things contribute to it. To think just the Home Run Derby changes, the way you're hitting for the second half of the season, I don't think that's true that much. Sure, some guys it could affect, but to say that the Home Run Derby is going to affect everybody is not true. And some stats that I've seen in the recent, I'm looking it up this year and just seeing it in the past. I believe the average, now this could be off a little bit, but I did see a stat about this, and this was a year or 2 years ago. I think it was maybe 2 years ago at this point. The Home Run Derby, pre-Home Run Derby average from the participants was 272. Post was 271. So the average was pretty much very similar.
Mm-hmm.
One I seen today was pre-OPS was .969 or 969, and post was 926. So the OPS did go down, and home run percentage went down. I don't have that stat, but the home run percentage went down a little bit. So yeah, they go down, but is that a huge difference? No. Is that just because you had the Home Run Derby? No. It could be the time off. It could be trade deadline, facing different guys. Dog days of summer, of course. So I think it could contribute a lot there. I just don't think the Home Run Derby is a curse. I don't think it's something where it's like, okay, you do this, you have a better shot at being in a slump. I just don't think that, you should be fully scared of it, especially in this day and age, because that's all they want people to do is hit home runs and have the launch angle. So your swing's not changing. If you're a guy like, I don't know, LeMahieu or David Fletcher or something like that, and you're in the Home Run Derby, all right, maybe that could affect you because now you're a home run hitter and you're not a home run hitter. But if you're like Pete Alonso or someone like that where you're a home run hitter and that's kind of what you do, I don't think it really is going to affect you. I don't think it can because you're not changing your swing. So, the home run derby curse, I'm not a big fan or a big believer in that as like a, foregone conclusion. Like I said, certain guys it definitely could mess with a bit. But to say that, you're like, oh, you just probably, almost guarantee you're going to have a dip, I don't see that true.
Yeah, I until you brought up the stat, I had no stats to back up my thoughts, but I didn't really think there was one either. Just based on, just watching the game and always kind of having that idea around the home run derby that guys slump afterwards. But, has it affected people before? Sure, why not? The home run derby's been going on for what, 30 plus years? I mean, to say that it hasn't affected anyone would probably be a lie, but to say that it affects everyone is just the same lie, I think. Just to put an overall blanket on the home run derby and say, well, if you participate in this, you're going to slump.
Yeah.
There's 8 guys in it every year. You think all 8 guys just all of a sudden forget how to hit afterwards? Yeah. It's like you said, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Yeah. Your body's tired after playing, how many games, and it's hot out, and like you said, there's days off, and there's just a lot that goes into the human effect of baseball.
I think also it's just a good, like, hey, I'm struggling a little bit. Yeah, it was the home run derby.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's an easy out. Mm-hmm. Not saying that the guy's wrong for using it, but it's like, hey, it's an easy out. You can use that, and no one's really going to yell at you. Not right. Use it.
Right.
It's like a get out of jail free card. It's like, all right, that's okay.
Yeah, we've heard that before.
But it's like, that makes sense. But it's not really the reason.
Right.
Or it's not, for the most part, it's not the main reason. So I just wanted to bring that up since the home run derby participants are coming out, and that's coming in closer. It's a good topic because it's like the Madden curse with the covers and stuff like that. It's like, is it true? Was it just coincidental? I think it's more coincidental than anything for the most part. So I think that's where we're at with the home run derby and being cursed, especially in this day and age with the launch angle and people swinging for the fence. Your swings doesn't change.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you look back because we didn't have one last year. 2 years ago, you had Pete Alonso win it, and he's now the defending champ. And he went on that year to break the record for rookie home runs in a year.
Home runs, right?
So it doesn't seem like he had much of a hard time. I mean, I'm sure there's obviously a split, and that's the thing too is, there's no clear, if you slump in the second half, and which is just entirely possible. There's guys that have great first halves, there's guys that have horrible second halves, or vice versa. So
Rafael Devers is one. Always has usually not a great first half, and the second half he's usually fantastic.
Yeah, so I mean, it just happens, and just to say, oh well, he had a bad second half, so it must be because of this. It's just guys just get on a streak. Hitting's contagious and that whole thing. Maybe a team in general plays bad the second half, and maybe you as a player are a factor of that, or you're an effect of that. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
Bad luck.
Sometimes the ball don't bounce the right way for you, and stuff happens.
And you can see that with anything, just because one stat you could throw out with seeing just bad luck. I believe Machado was like 4th or 5th in the league in barrel percentage or hard hit percentage. But he was only batting like 240 this year. He was having somewhat of a down year. So you can see that sometimes you're just in a long stretch of kind of bad luck. So things could change like that overnight. And for 2 days off, 3 days off with guys not seeing live pitching, that could definitely affect people too.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I said, and to your point too, to say that one thing in one round and there are some people in the home run derby that hit like 5 home runs and they're out. There's some guys that barely get any swings in it. To say that they're affected by it is pretty ridiculous too. Now maybe someone like Vlad Jr. or Pete Alonso that went to the finals last year and hit God knows how many home runs they hit. I think they came close to the record or broke the record or something. Yeah. Stanton years past, Judge, obviously Josh Hamilton and Bobby Bray when those guys in years past didn't seem to affect them as much. I'm pretty sure Josh Hamilton 2 years later won an MVP. I don't know what his splits were in that year. Judge and Stanton have been fine. Pete Alonso, like I said, went on to break the rookie record. Vlad Guerrero Jr., I don't know about 2019 stats, but now he's an MVP candidate. Because people go as far with that argument as to say it'll affect someone's career, which I think is quite a stretch in logic. So personally, no, I don't think that there's anything to the home run derby curse or whatever you want to call it. I think it's just like you said, it's an excuse. Or could be used in his excuse as advantageous to the player. So I think that guys shouldn't be worried to participate in the home run derby. If they want to do it, they should do it, and more power to them to get more fanfare on him. Maybe it's a guy that's hitting home runs that's in Colorado and no one knows who he is. Like a la like Ryan McMahon or something.
Yeah.
So I think that I think it'd be nothing but beneficial to a player personally.
Yeah. And I think one quick side note, just to throw in there, the MLB made a big mistake by not having Adam Dunn in home run derby throughout his career. Because that's what the guy did, and it would have been he would have just put on quite the show in the home run derby.
I agree.
Way to go with that one. So
yeah,
would have loved to see him there.
There's a lot of guys in years past you wish were in the home run derby or were in more home run derbies. I mean, a guy like Stanton, you would like to be in it every year, just because he's fun. You know, like
he's mashing the ball.
You know, so I mean, that'd be ideal. But obviously, it's up to the player themselves if they want to do it. Or maybe there's some guys that use the excuse, well, I don't feel like doing it. I just want to kind of take the All-Star weekend to chill out and watch the guys hit the ball.
Or if I'm not in the All-Star game, I'm not going there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure Trout always talks about how he likes watching and enjoying the home run derby as opposed to participating in it, because he'd probably be a good candidate. I don't know if he's ever done it. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he has. So he'd be another good candidate too if he's not healthy this year, unfortunately, at the time of the All-Star break. But there's guys like that, and like you said with Dunn, you'd wish that some guys did it, and maybe that is in fear of maybe they believe in the slump,
So he slumped all the time. So
yeah, so yeah, I don't believe in it. Doesn't sound like you do too.
Yeah.
But you never know what the consensus is around the league. Maybe players believe it. I don't know.
So, to get on some other news, we've seen obviously with the All-Star game, to continue with that, we've seen now at the point where we're voting for the starters. So you can go out and vote for who you want to start the All-Star game. We've seen Hector Santiago was the first player ejected for quote-unquote sticky substance on his glove. They said it was just rosin. I'm not sure what's going on. His glove was taken to get tested and looked at, so we'll see. But that's the first one we've seen since the rule came out. And the last little bit I have is Eduardo Escobar is in major trade rumors. He was pulled out of the lineup the other day thinking he was traded. The belief is they're closing on a deal to get him to the White Sox, who have had major injuries so far this year. So we're already seeing that's a pretty big rumor. It's a big player to a big team. So we're starting to see them creep into teams. And rumors come in as, we have heard the Yankees calling around for teams already. So, it's time to start making moves and feeling out other teams.
Yeah, I love the trade deadline time. This is really getting to the meat of it, and we're going to start seeing some big trades happen, hopefully. So, good stuff. So, to move on with the news, number 2 that I have on the docket here, the Cubs threw a no-hitter. On June 24th, the Cubs threw the first combined no-hitter in franchise history as Zach Davies, Ryan Tepera, Andrew Chafin, and Craig Kimbrell all contributed to the effort. They walked a combined 8 batters, which is the most since Edwin Jackson's no-hitter in 2010.
Wow, he did it all by himself.
Yeah.
162-pitch no-hitter.
Yeah.
So.
I'm pretty sure A.J. Burnett had a pretty ridiculous high walk.
Walks
yeah,
like that.
yeah. So, they walk a lot of guys. I'm pretty sure Kimbrell didn't even know.
The whole bullpen didn't know, they said.
Really?
Yeah, they were just like, oh, all right.
Yeah, well, I guess we got no hits.
Oh.
I remember seeing the replay of Kimbrell kind of finishing it and just walking like it was a ho-hum victory. And, seeing just his reaction. He got mobbed on the mound and he had no idea. It was funny. But yeah, they threw a no-hitter. Congrats to them. I think it's the 7th or 8th of the year or something. It's like a record for a first half. And, you throw in Bumgarner's, you got the record, so.
Yeah. His honorable achievement.
Yeah, whatever they want to call it. And then the last piece of news here before the Who's Doing the Best right now. The College World Series is kicking off tonight, June 28th. The College Baseball World Series is kicking off between Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. Vanderbilt finished the season 48-16, while Mississippi State finished 48-17. Vanderbilt is considered the favorite and is seeking to win back-to-back titles. So just keep it a little, maybe some non-MLB news. The College Baseball World Series is fun to watch, and there's a lot of people that are really into it. And there's some guys on there, especially Vanderbilt, that I've personally taken notice to. I know you're a little bit more into it than I am, but so it'll be exciting to watch some of these games, and I'll keep a little bit of an eye on it. What about you?
Yeah, the College Baseball World Series is always exciting. There's always an excitement around the games and stuff like that. It's always crazy. But those are the 2 best teams. Was the consensus that those are the 2 best teams, and they should be playing against each other. So we're going to see some real talent in, is his name Kumar, his last name? The pitcher, the big guy.
Oh,
they have Leiter.
Yeah.
Mississippi State has some few guys too. So, yeah, College World Series is always exciting, and the atmosphere is just nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's still college, so you still get that craziness, but it's also baseball, and then you get that different kind of atmosphere. So it's always pretty cool to see.
Sure. Yeah. So that'll be by the time this goes live, it'll be I guess in the third game or so, depending on I don't know how they do off days for the college World Series.
I
But
think it's 3 straight.
so then there you go. By the time you
They should do a 5-game series for that, but it's a different subject. So
yeah, so by the time you hear this, they're in the third game, I guess, or hopefully. So then number 4, the wrap up. Who's doing the best right now? The Giants have the best record in the league at 50-27 still, while the Dodgers are right behind them in the NL at 47-31. Over in the AL, the Astros own the best record at 48-30, with the Red Sox right behind them at 47-31. The Astros own the best run differential in the league at plus 142, and the Orioles have the worst at minus 124. So the Diamondbacks no longer have the worst run differential. And they actually, I believe, they broke the streak on most road losses.
the Orioles almost beat them already. I think they had 21, and the Diamondbacks had 24, and they both broke the streak the same day.
You know, it's weird. I look at both teams, and they have talent. I think even the Orioles...
Especially the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I think the Orioles aren't even... They're playing bad, but they have talent. It's almost surprising to see the teams like this. You know, especially, like you said, especially the Diamondbacks. It's just weird. I can't really make heads or tails. There's a lot of teams like the... Yankees and Braves,
Giants.
like we've always said, all the Giants really make no sense. But it's a weird year. I've kept saying it's a weird year for a lot of teams. I don't know what to make heads or tails. A lot of teams.
Yeah. Yes.
Even the Red Sox. I said up and down. I didn't think they were good, but here they are.
So some teams I throw out that are doing good right now. The Blue Jays, Twins actually playing better. So good for them. Maybe they can make a run for it. Astros, Nationals, Brewers, Padres, and Giants. Those are some teams that I marked down here as hot, and some cold teams, as you mentioned, the Orioles, White Sox struggling recently, the Royals, the Reds, the Cardinals with their injuries and whatnot, they're really struggling, and the Diamondbacks. So those are my hot and cold teams to throw out there.
Sure, yeah. Some of them, no surprise at all, really. All right, so let's go into the who's hot and who's not. So leading off for the week, as I usually try to do, by the time I do my notes, if I know who the players of the week are, I try to include them. So number 1, the NL Player of the Week, Jake Cronenworth, had a 368 average over the last week, 895 slugging, and a 1349 OPS. Number 2, the AL Player of the Week, I guess no surprise, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 391 average over last week, 826 slugging, and 1308 OPS. I just really wish I pulled the trigger and drafted him in fantasy, because I talked him up. A lot of people talked him up, but I kept saying how good he was going to be. And here we are, not on my fantasy team, but whatever. Number 3, Miles Straw, batted 500 over the last week with a 650 slugging and a 1215 OPS. Number 4, Brian Reynolds, over the last week, batted 440 with a 560 slugging and a 1022 OPS. And number 5, DJ LeMahieu, batted 423 over the last week with a 654 slugging and an 1137 OPS. So those are your 5 hot guys for the week.
Yeah, and some guys that I want to add to that list. You had, Bogarts playing well. Adam Frazier. I mean, I know you said Brian Reynolds, but this is also another person. His name is Adam Frazier.
Yeah.
Even though they're almost the same person. And Yuli Gurriel. Some guys who are really playing well.
Yeah.
Some pitchers to look at. Cole Irvin. 8 shutout innings yesterday against the Giants. Herman Marquez. Max Scherzer. Romano for the Blue Jays. Pitched really good at the bullpen recently. And Will Smith pitched well. So those are some guys that were really are doing well.
Cool. Yeah. Some unusual names. Like you said, with the Blue Jays doing well, makes sense there. So there you go. And the Pirates have been hitting well too, which is amazing because I think they still have like a minus 80-something run differential or something.
Bet against them like 4 straight days, thinking if they win this one, they got to lose the next one, and they just kept not losing. So
yeah, I don't get it. But move on to the cold guys. So number 1, Frank's favorite player, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
Oh yeah.
.077 average.
Yep, I got him here too.
With a .077 slugging and a 188 OPS over the last week. Number 2, Odubel Herrera with a .080 average over the last week and a .120 slugging and a 263 OPS. Number 3, Salvador Perez, an .091 batting average over the last week with a 136 slugging and a 227 OPS. Number 4, JT Realmuto, an .091 average over the last week with an .091 slugging and a 221 OPS. And number 5, Trey Mancini, .095 average with a 143 slugging and a 238 OPS over the last week. And those are your cold guys.
Yes, some other guys I want to throw out there. Gavin Lux, really struggling. Lepre Torres, he's been struggling quite a bit here. And Jorge Alfaro. Some other guys to just take a look at there have been not doing great.
Mm.
Some pitchers, Garrett Crochet for the White Sox. I believe he had I think he had one out this last week, and I think he had like a 136 ERA.
Jesus.
I think he had like 5 runs and 1 out.
Okay.
Alex Cobb, not pitching great. Oviedo for the Cardinals.
I know who you're talking
Young
about.
guy,
Yeah.
he hasn't been pitching good. Garrett Cole beat up yesterday against the Red Sox, and Pete Fairbanks again struggling for the Rays out of the bullpen. The next part I want to get into is some injuries. This week we had some bigger names on our list here. Freddie Galvis placed on the IL. Zach Britton placed back on the IL. Josh Naylor had a pretty serious ankle injury yesterday, so he's done for the year. Michael Fulmer on the IL. Byron Buxton, of course, is where he lives, on the IL, fractured hand.
Yeah.
Mark Canha, dealing with hip soreness for a lot of the year, but flared up again, so they put him on the IL. Jose Abreu was day-to-day. Willie Calhoun fractured his forearm. He's on the IL. Let's see. What else do I got here? Mike Soroka
Yeah.
retore his Achilles walking through the clubhouse. So, not sure about that. Ketel Marte placed on the IL. Brandon Belt, which they're worried about. He was placed on the IL. Dilson Lamet, another one placed on the IL. Always seems to be there. And that's pretty much I got on the injured side. On the getting healthier side of this, George Springer back. Brandon McKay progressing well. Mike Trout getting better.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him about right after the All-Star break. They're thinking he'll be back. So that's about a month.
Okay.
We have Chris Sale, face live hitters. His rehab assignment's going to start soon. Severino, about to get back on the mound and just restart his rehab assignment.
Oh, good.
Wendelken for the A's, expected to be back soon. Jesse Winker was day-to-day, missed a couple games. He's back in the lineup today. Cody Bellinger is back, and Michael Givens expected to be back soon. So he's definitely going to be a trade piece.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are some names to look out for, as in they're hurt or are coming back soon.
2 guys real quick that I feel bad for. First of all, Byron Buxton cannot stay off the IL, and he's a very talented guy, as we've seen the last few years here. Really speedy, defensive, power. He's really got it all. Guys like that I really feel bad for. They can't stay on the field. It sometimes just is what it is. And Mike Soroka, I really feel bad for. A guy just can't catch a break.
A bit of a freak injury, which Achilles and those tears like that are always kind of freak injuries, but to then do it again, and almost again, because he had that one cleanup surgery and then did it again. I mean, It's just a mess.
Yeah, I feel bad for those guys, and really anyone that gets really put on the shelf for a while with an injury. As I kind of always say on the injury parts, but those guys I'm kind of feeling for. They just can't seem to get out of their own way with the injuries.
Yeah, it's a shame, but that's just part of the game, I guess. To get into our last segment here, and that's a trivia question. We obviously seen the new rule with the substance on the ball, so I wanted to keep it somewhat about that. So the trivia question is, what year was the spitball made illegal? That seems pretty simple, right? So the answer to that is prior to the 1920 season. They made the spitball an illegal pitch, but, quote-unquote, bona fide spitballers were allowed to use the spitball the rest of their career. So if you were someone who threw it, considered a bona fide starter or a spitballer, you can use it the rest of your career. And to go along with that, the last spitball or last known legal spitball thrown in the MLB was thrown by Burley Grimes in 1934. So he pitched 14 years after the rule was made with a spitball.
Burley Grimes. God almighty.
So there you go. That's our trivia for the week. So again, it was what year was the spitball made illegal? And prior to the 1920 season, the spitball was made illegal.
Yeah, I tried to think of big years, maybe that commissioners changed or that there was some big event, but that makes sense because of the Black Sox thing.
Yeah.
That's got to be the only point I can think of that they would do that, unless it was just, this is the year, we're doing it. I don't know. I thought it was later. I thought it was much later. I guess the 50s originally. But I also thought it could have been late, like no one threw the spitball anymore, but it wasn't, quote-unquote, made illegal for a while. But 1920 makes sense because really I can't even think of seeing video of someone throw a spitball or anything, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, other than that, Mike beat the snot out of me in fantasy this week, so that's always fun. That's twice now he's beat me this year, so that's good. I actually am very happy that Mike beat me twice this year because you won't beat a team 3 times in the same year. Usually it's like saying you see that more like in football. You face division rival twice. You don't really, if you see him in the playoffs, you don't think you're going to beat him 3rd time.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's on my side there.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike also was breaking world records with how good his team was playing. So
Yeah.
that's okay. We'll be all right. But yeah, Mike beat the snot out of me this week in fantasy. So good for him, because he's an idiot. But other than that, we also have this weekend will be 4th of July, Independence Day. So
Yep.
that's always good to go out and celebrate. And just one of those baseball holidays. Makes sense to play baseball on. So that's always cool to see. They usually have red, white, and blue hats or something. So excited to see kind of what they do there. But it's always a great holiday to enjoy, barbecues and veterans and things like that. So we'll be enjoying that this weekend.
Yeah, everyone enjoyed their 4th of July, whether you're barbecuing, sitting by the pool, or whatever you end up doing, watching some baseball. I don't know, however you enjoy it, hope you enjoy it. Yes, my team did play well this week, and to be fair, I probably would have beat the snot out of anyone.
You would beat the snot out of everybody.
I had a .97 ERA this week with like a 40 innings pitch, which is I don't even think I could wish for that.
I bet at 330 something.
Yeah, and I bet at
one error.
330 something, one error. I mean, my team, I literally
15 home runs.
I don't think I could have played any better. Adam Frazier, Brian Reynolds, and the fellas just went nuts.
I think I bet 280 with a 2.9 ERA, and that just got demolished.
Perfectly fine week. Actually, a week you probably win most
I win
cases.
9 out of 10 times.
And yeah, my team went absolutely berserk, as I have been for 2 weeks now. So I'm happy. Hopefully, we don't get cold for the playoffs, but not holding my breath there because that'd be my luck.
Well, all I gotta say is the last 2 times I faced Mike, I've been on the wrong side of a no hitter.
That's true.
The first time this year, he threw a no hitter. This time, I had Walker Buehler pitch against the Cubs when they threw their no hitter.
And the time before that, Justin Verlander.
Yeah, 2 years ago, when Justin Verlander threw his no hitter, I got my ass kicked. Yeah, somehow after I threw the no hitter, I actually took the lead because of the no hitter, and then the next moment I was losing like 15-3.
I still don't know how that happened, but it happened.
So last 3 times a no hitter's been thrown, and I've been facing Mike. I have not progressed well. So that's good, I guess.
Well, we'll see what happens. I got to play our buddy Dom this week, and my team will go ice cold knowing me. So
I have to beat the snot out of him. Ever since we put that bounty on Joe, though, I think he's only been like 1-4.
Yeah, they put a bounty on him. Trout got hurt, and everything went downhill.
Yeah, we said we had no one can lose to him, and I think like he's 1-4 since that. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Can't let him do anything good.
No, because he beat me, so I'm fine with it.
And I planted him. I beat him like 19-5 or something like that.
I know you
It's
did.
not out of him.
I know.
So that's good. But fantasy's going pretty well overall, so it's always fun to be back doing that.
Yeah, everyone's actually kind of close. Except for the the bottom 2 teams or whatever. Everyone's pretty close.
Top 8 make the playoffs out of 12, but the 9 teams right there and the 10 seed is still kind of hanging around. So
Yeah.
you really got at least a 9-team race for 8 spots, but at the very least you got a 10-team race.
Yeah.
Still for 9 spots. Even the last 2 places, I mean, we still got 9 weeks, so you can still make up a lot of ground, obviously. So
Plenty of time.
we'll see. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, if you don't play fantasy baseball, it's fun. Maybe try to get a league with your buddies or whatever. Join a money league and just not even know anyone. You can do that too. Who cares? But it is fun.
Well, even daily fantasy, they have to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do it. It's not just fantasy football. Obviously, is the one that takes a lot of precedent for people. But fantasy baseball is cool too, especially if you listen to this podcast. You're a big baseball guy. It's fun to do. I recommend it. We do it every year, really.
Yeah.
But that's kind of all I got for this week. I hope everyone enjoys their 4th of July. Like I said, however you enjoy it, we will upload, I'm assuming, it like normal next week. But because of 4th of July and the day off after, we may record a day late. But as far as the upload goes, you guys may not even notice a difference. So we'll just throw that out there just in case.
Yeah.
So unless you got anything else, this is actually a really short episode. So let's you want to wrap it up here?
Yeah, that's it. That's all the all the news we got for him. So.
All right, then, let's get out of here. Thank you guys for listening. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts as well as Google Podcasts and Spotify. You can listen on our regularly updated YouTube channel as well as our website, screwball.podbean.com. You can follow me on Twitter at RealMikeLepre. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lepre.
And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FDubs10.
You can follow our official Screwball Twitter at ScrewballPod. You can follow our official Screwball Facebook at ScrewballPod. No E in Screw. And that's it from us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep, take care.